Business end of the season in Ghana, business end of the season in England, business end of the season in Europe. That's the 411 today. And some people will not be too happy about the outcome of the results in their crunch matches that happened this weekend. But welcome to Sports Zone here on Joy Prime. I'm sitting in for Fentuo Tahiru Fentuo, who is on an international assignment for us today. We'll be looking at, among other things, the FA Cup final. We review that match. We look at the transfer rumors. We are hearing in the last 10 minutes or so that Kai Havertz is heading to Real Madrid, possibly. It's becoming firmer and firmer. This move started a couple of years ago. It's been a few years in the making, and it seems like Real Madrid have wanted this guy for a while. We look at why they even need him, because Chelsea fans cannot understand why this guy will be wanted by Real Madrid, but they will gladly sell him anyway. McAllister to Liverpool, Mason Mount to Man United. And why are players ditching for Liverpool and vice versa? Why are a certain caliber of players not looking the way of Man United? But, and we try and look at the history from the last 3-4 years, you've heard that Man United have almost been at the finishing line of certain key players, only for Liverpool to take them. We look at some of the courses, if time allows. And then, has Messi's time at PSG been a failure? Would want you to answer that as well. I see this. Look, see these two boys. See these two boys in the studio. They're already shaking hands. Agenda. The Black Princesses have had a good weekend after beating Nigeria in the Under-20 Wafubi Championship, which means that they've qualified for the African Women's Cup of Nations. Go Ghana in that one. The Ghana Premier League is almost done. One game to go. Will Mediama take it? Looking likely. Bichem United will seem to have set the card. Kim Faisal, they are mathematically innate, but what does it mean for them as well? Hearts lose to Real Tamale United. We look at the results and tables, and of course, we need your thoughts and your opinions on everything we'll discuss here. The numbers you know will be flashing on the screen pretty shortly. This show brought to you by Syntex Tanks, Tough, and also by Hunter's Bread. Stay with us. I'm Gary Al Smith. Thank you for your time again. As always, the number to text 055-157-5757. 055-157-5757. This show is brought to you by Hunter's Red Apple, introducing the Red Apple Cider, crisp, refreshing beverage that's perfect for any occasion, made from hand-picked apples and crafted using traditional techniques. Hunter's Real Apple Cider is bursting with natural apple flavors and a hint of sweetness. Enjoy it on its own or paired with your favorite meal for a delicious and satisfying experience. It's got real apples and it's another quality product from Casa Preco. For bulk purchase, please call 0262 351251. That's 0262 351251. Show also brought to you by Syntex Tanks, a strong, a tough. You know what's strong and what's tough? Manchester City. They are like Syntex Tanks. Like if you break them, they are not breaking. They are unbreakable, they are unshakable, unflappable, unkillable. Danny is in the studio. Sicho is in the studio as well. Danny is going to use his anger to analyze the FA Cup final and prove to us why he feels that Eric Ten Hag got one or two decisions wrong. So, Danny, while we see the highlights of the game, Danny will be taking the floor. Okay, Sicho.
Yeah, I mean, I agree largely with a lot of what Danny has said. Of course, when you look at the fact that Ten Hag actually set up Casemiro and then Fred to do man marking on that midfield box that City had created with Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne leading the midfield box or finding themselves in the half spaces. It was always going to be difficult. I just think the one thing for Man United as well was that they could have communicated better. And that first goal incident as well, back to the point. When Erling Haaland moved into the wide area, I think he was well rehearsed because Ortega, as you said, people underrate his ability to pass the ball, his ability to go long, even to squeeze into tight corners. Erling Haaland moves wide, anticipates the long ball coming from Ortega. Yeah. I'm thinking that if I'm a centre back, I'm actually calling Casemiro or Fred to handle him because I keep the back line intact and I ask a defensive midfielder to keep track on Haaland because I can pass him on to him. What should have then happened was that the defensive midfield of Fred and Casemiro maybe should have asked Eriksen also then to keep an eye on Gundogan. So I just think Man United players are so focused on man marking the City midfield in Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne, and that many others were not doing their job. Throughout the whole game, again, when you look at the numbers, City's XG were not great. Man United walk away from the game feeling like they were competing with City. When City were on the ball,
Ten Hag said that it's only Man United are the only club in the world who can
fight back.
I'm
still wondering what that means.
Well, I think with what the numbers show, especially when City got into the lead, when City get into the lead very early in the game, they have a tendency of blowing teams apart. And we saw them do that against Real Madrid. But that was at the Etihad, this was at the Wembley, this was Manchester Derby. The dynamics are quite different. But I'm thinking that if one of Man United got down early in that game, their response wasn't bad. I thought in the first 5 minutes they were a bit shaky. Rodri could have scored from a header. He didn't get that on. But when City had the ball, United were sometimes late, but they recovered in time to deny City clear goal scoring opportunities. That is why most of the efforts from City, dangerous efforts, were out from outside the box.
True.
Erling Haaland barely had a sniff in the box. Kevin De Bruyne had to shoot from distance. Ike Gundogan had to score twice from distance. The problem with Man United, however, was when they had the ball. And that is where I think lack of quality in the Man United side was clear. Bruno, Eriksen, Sancho, Rashford, at times Casemiro. Anytime Manchester United had the ball, there wasn't one player in that side who was comfortable enough to hold on to the ball, pick the most sensible pass, dictate a tempo of the game or whatsoever. So a lot of things they did outside the ball or outside having the ball was decent, but on the ball they were terrible.
City 2 down, 1 to go. Will they win the Champions League? That will be on Saturday the 10th.
And the second goal was the year's fault.
It wasn't his fault, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't agree on that one, whether it was David De Gea's fault or not. Let us know what you think about whose fault it was. And largely, we are going into the transfers, especially with Man United, whether he should be changed. You feel like David De Gea has had a fantastic run at United. I mean, we know what his start and his season has been. Is it time for them to go for somebody else because he's run his course? Let's know. But United themselves need to strengthen. And there has seemed to be a theme developing over the last couple transfer windows where United are said to be bank on, shoe in. I don't know what the other expression is. They have almost signed a player, then Liverpool take it from them. United have almost become what Arsenal used to be a couple of years ago. You know, we can start from Thiago Alcantara to some of the players Liverpool got as well. But latterly, McAllister has come into the picture. Yeah. McAllister to Manchester United and Liverpool. Why is it that Liverpool seem to be winning this battle? And then I'll come to you for Mason Mount as well.
I feel it's more of intent. I feel, yes, rumours fly around, but when you look at, you can compare the profile of McAllister to that of Mason Mount, and we can see Man United are leaning more to Mount than McAllister. So yes, we know how transfers work. They are a list. You don't necessarily pin your hopes on one player. You have a number of players in certain positions that you want, but there's priority. So I'm sure, per what we are seeing, Man United, McAllister was claiming on Man United's number one target. Okay. We know that is Mount. Liverpool have been showing intent for months now, and we almost always knew that once they show the money, they'll get the player. And when you, even in terms of who suits who better, I feel McAllister and his team will look at it, and Liverpool is a far better
for him at this stage
option than Man United at this stage. The Liverpool machine is set. The system is set. Yes, things didn't go well this season, but it wasn't because of the machine. It was because of the tools that were working with the machine. So he is a tool that when he enters this machine, we will see it being restored or start getting restored.
How so?
Look, he has everything. He has everything that Liverpool wants. He has that tenacity. We saw a different side of him at the World Cup. His intelligence on the ball and technique, especially intelligence on the ball. Liverpool play a very fast-paced system. When you get the ball, you need to know exactly what you are doing.
Intense as well.
He's played, and I think that the best McAllister we've seen is the McAllister under De Zerbi. He's very, very intelligent, and that is something that you need to have when you are playing in systems like this. At the World Cup also, we saw a similar but different in terms of the instructions that he was given.
If I may, Argentina played an iteration about 4 different formations across the World Cup from the beginning all the way to the end. And he seemed at home in all of them.
In all of them, and you need players like that. Liverpool have lacked a proper midfield for the past, I think, 2 seasons. I think what they did last season, they completely blew themselves away. I don't think those guys were on their last legs, but some way, somehow, they still managed to get it over the line. He reminds me of what Klopp did in his I think it was second season when Salah came first. And Coutinho was playing in that midfield 3, but was the more advanced.
Yeah.
Coutinho left. We saw Wijnaldum do something like that at times.
Yeah.
And I think Klopp wants to return to that, sort of play him in that midfield 3, but in a more advanced form. I think we've even seen Gakpo play in his early time at Liverpool. He tried it with him, of course. Gakpo is much better in the front 3. But for me, it will work. At Liverpool, it will work.
And we should expect him to get goals.
Oh, he'll get goals. His
primary job would not be to score goals.
To score within the system, you would see his influence. That's what I'm very sure of, because his profile and what we've seen Liverpool do before, it just fits. And Klopp hardly makes mistakes with transfers.
Why do Man United so badly need Mason Mount?
Honestly, I'm not too sure why Man United need Mason Mount. I don't think he solves problems in that side. Maybe Erik ten Hag is a big fan of Mount, and we know this for a while, that when he was with his time at Vitesse, Erik ten Hag enjoyed Mason Mount, but he was a much younger Mount. And I've heard a lot of Man United fans, so the commentary around Mason Mount, that he could be that number 8 that replaces Christian Eriksen because he doesn't have age on his side. And Mount is sharper, he's fresher, he's younger, he's got aggression and energy. But I don't think Mason Mount's a number 8, at least not at the elite level. Maybe when he was younger, from Cobham, he was playing there. Maybe at Vitesse, he was playing there. But even from Derby, Mount was always the more advanced central midfielder. When he's played well for Chelsea in the last 3 seasons or so, he's always been the more advanced midfielder. And at times when they've made a mistake to try and use him in midfield,
closer to a 10
than an 8. And at times when they've tried to use him as, if you like, a number 8, he hasn't played well. And even in the English national team, if Mount was a very good number 8, having played for so many games for Chelsea, in the England national team, Bellingham shouldn't be starting ahead of him in the number 8.
True.
But we went to the World Cup and there was Bellingham. Mason Mount was further up the pitch because Bellingham was alongside Declan Rice. Calvin Phillips was not fit. And at times Henderson as well. So I just think, I'm not too sure why. Because best case scenario, he would be a downgrade of Bruno Fernandes in that number 10 role. So if you have a big squad, you have money to splash, you're thinking of Mason Mount coming in to take some pressure off Bruno so that he doesn't play the number of games he played this season. But if you're playing Mount as a number 8, is it the player you trust to take the ball from the defense as Eriksen has done this season? Is he a great passer of the ball? What is his range of passing? He's decent. All around football-wise, he's decent. But I just don't see what
for that
elite. I just don't see how
he's not Bruno Fernandes.
He's not Bruno Fernandes. He's not Casemiro. He's not Eriksen.
Yeah.
So I just don't see how or what he solves in this Man United midfield. And I'm thinking if you have Mount, Bruno, Casemiro as a midfield 3 against many elite teams, they're going to run over that midfield.
Please stay with me on Real Madrid and why and who is going out of Real Madrid and how next season may pan out. Whether, Charlie, the machine finally is going to burst. Let's take a few comments from you guys. Hi, good evening. I want to talk about Pochettino. This one is from Justice Dogbe, aka Pizarro from Togo. You are watching from Togo.
Solid.
International show with this.
I love that.
Hi, good evening. I want to talk about Pochettino. It's not my kind of coach, but if I may say, I will prefer Luis Enrique or former Bayern Munich coach. But all the way, we wish him luck next season. And this is from Justice in Togo, sending us, good evening, Joy Sports. My first day of watching Sports Zone. Brilliant analysis by all standards. I'm Salam from Kasi. Where's Kasi? I've heard Kasi before. Please remind me where Kasi is. I know I've heard it before. Jeff from Ho says, good evening. We Madridistas are grateful to Karim Benzema for everything he's done. We are happy for such a personality like him to ever play for us. For Man City on Saturday, we shall see. Inter Milan will give them the shock of their lives as well. Any thoughts on Europa from Ben in Akuse? Maybe. I won't be surprised if tips Inter Milan to win the UCL when it comes to discussing the UCL final. In the semi, he was so sure of Madrid winning at Etihad, even though Madrid had never won at the Etihad. Kofi from Kaswa weighs that in. Boyson Jr. from Cape Coast says Man City will win the treble this season. Good evening, Sports Zone. Wow, this is a long message. Mohammed Uche from Tema Community 25. Okay, I read this before coming on air, so let me sum it up. He is disappointed in the refereeing. He says he was at the game yesterday, he was at the stadium. I applauded the linesman when he drew the referee's attention to the wrong call he made regarding the penalty. So this is the Hearts of Oak game. He awarded to us. Then from nowhere, this same linesman denied us a very clear goal. It's very disheartening to come from a long way just to come witness such decisions from a linesman. Honestly, he's lucky hooliganism isn't in the league for yesterday. Like, I swear.
Some way.
Hi, Gary. This is a follow-up. Bedroom maestro from Insawam. Messi was a success at PSG. Looking at his age, 35, old man scoring 21 goals and 20 assists in 41 games. Opana is somewhere in the Gulf playing Attaya and Jalabia. Danny Cranting at you. Daddy is now a mirage. Gary, what at all is Perez seeing in Kai Havertz? I hope my blue cash is in fast before they change their mind. With Nkunku, we will be great again.
And that's a so one-sided message, because when Ronaldo was 35, where was he playing?
Don't worry, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Like Zlatan Ibrahimovic told some guy in the MLS.
Carlos Vela.
Yeah, some guy in the MLS asked Zlatan Ibrahimovic when he went to the MLS that he's not the best player in the MLS because Carlos Vela had scored a certain number of goals. And Zlatan asked him that, when I was 21 years, do you know where I was playing? So don't bring that. Hi guys, good evening. First time texter. I'm Emmanuel from Abokobi, aka Bankushishi.
I love that.
I love your show. Hi guys, Liverpool is getting McAllister for less than 50 million quid. He's definitely getting the bargain of the season. I hope the other teams can learn from that and not overpay for normal talent. Roland Gambero in Ashaima. So I've done about 10 comments. Let's go to Real Madrid. Guys, let's see the in and out of Real and ask ourselves, Charlie, what happened and what is going to happen next season? This is the list of those exiting. Marco Asensio, Karim Benzema, Mariano Diaz, Eden Hazard. This is just 4 of them, but there are quite a number more. Transfer targets: Kai, Jude, Harry Kane, Alphonso Davies, and Joselu. So who's going to take the first champ?
Listen, I'm not sure Real Madrid are preparing to let Benzema go this summer. I'm thinking they were...
No, but Benzema forced for them.
No, he tried. I mean, Benzema...
No. In the way he's living.
Yes.
Or he said he didn't know he was going.
No, Benzema didn't even know. He didn't even think he was going to go.
No. You know what I'm saying. Real Madrid fans, some of them are unhappy that he just, because if they knew, they would have prepared for it last season. Yeah,
Real Madrid were not ready to preparing for Benzema's exit. I'm thinking Real Madrid were looking at maybe seeing Mbappe's contract run out and they would maybe go for him for free next summer. Or maybe after a second season for Erling Haaland in the Premier League, Real Madrid could have tempted him to join them at the Los Blancos. But Benzema, the season that he's had, he has to listen to his body. He suffered this season. He's played through a lot of injury, muscle injuries, and the brand of football he plays with the pace that he's got, I'm not sure and the more is, I'll come to why Madrid were even looking for Joselu anyway, because Madrid were not even sure Benzema was going to play the number of games he was able to play for them last season when they won the Champions League. So they were looking for another striker who could fill in some of those games, and that was Joselu, who had a brilliant season with Espanyol, who have been relegated. He is from the Madrid academy. He's old, yes, but he's got goals in his boot, at least for La Liga level. So they're going to bring him in. That is why I see him on the list. But big money comes calling. Benzema has to now think about all the things and decide that he has time to go. So I think maybe now Real Madrid will have to facilitate replacing Benzema. And now, maybe not Mbappe, but Harry Kane. And it would make sense. Because when you look at Benzema and the brand of football he plays, and you look at Harry, and in fact, across the world of football, if you're looking for centre forwards whose game could be like for like, they're looking for maybe Benzema and Harry Kane. And even that, Benzema is elite, very elite, because he's won with his abilities.
Yes.
Harry Kane, not so much. But now listen, I know it's going to be controversial, but before I even say people insult me in their heads, but listen.
No, but it's true. I know where you're going initially.
Benzema is elite because he's won with his skill set, right? He's playing Champions League final, he scored in them, he carried Real Madrid last season. But when we strip them off it, we are talking about pure footballing abilities. I genuinely think there are a lot of things that Harry Kane does that Benzema doesn't have in his catalogue. Harry Kane's array of goals or distribution of goals or style of goals that he scores, the range is bigger than what Benzema offers.
Yeah.
Harry Kane can score plenty goals from outside the box.
Plenty.
From his left foot,
inside the box,
from his right foot. And we look at Benzema as a very good link-up player. Guess what? Harry Kane, in my opinion, is a better passer of the ball with a better range at passing than Benzema. I'm not saying he's a better footballer than Benzema. I'm saying that the very things we praise Benzema for, Harry Kane might just have a lot more in him than what Benzema does. But it's up to Harry Kane now, if he would go to Madrid, to go and prove that he can achieve the high status that Benzema achieved in Madrid with his own skill set.
For me, Benzema, Harry Kane can take the ball from the halfway line, give a 50-yard pass, no problem.
The range of
move, give a box-to-box kind of thing. Through passes helps in defensive duties as well.
Yeah.
Scores free kicks.
Free kicks.
People forget that.
Very good header of the ball.
Yeah.
He's a poacher.
Yeah.
Left foot, right foot, outside the box.
Complete striker.
Good killer of the... Benzema is great. I love Benzema.
Of course.
When you compare those little skill sets, Harry Kane has not won trophies with them, so it's difficult to say.
You know what freaks me out about this Harry Kane thing? The sheer number of neutrals willing him to go to Real Madrid. Yeah. Like, they want the boy to just go and win something.
It's so clear that the gods of football are even telling Harry Kane, listen, we appreciate what you've done.
This is your
time. But it's okay.
But we are moving Benzema away so that we take you there.
This is your time.
This is your time. So, you've taken Benzema.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz. Why do Real Madrid want and need Kai Havertz?
Because he's a top quality player.
So, aided by diagrams.
These are diagrams whilst playing for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Now note where the best numbers come from.
Yeah.
Second season.
Yeah.
Under which manager? Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah.
Joined the club, and this is third season for Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is.
Third season for Chelsea. He's been managed by 3 managers. I'll say 3. Lampard, Tuchel, Potter, Lampard. If you take a player like Kai Havertz, and this is the reason why when he was going to Chelsea, I was very skeptical. Big fan of him, but I didn't think Chelsea was the right club for him because of the man who was in charge. Same thing I said about Van de Beek when he was going to Manchester United. The statement was and still is, the managers don't understand him. So you are going to be confused by his skill set and not know where to place him. If Messi was playing for Everton with Sean Dyche in a 4-4-2 alongside Calvert-Lewin, and they were hitting aerial balls and Messi wasn't winning headers and the ball was being played in the air, and somebody will come and sit on TV and say Messi is a bad player, will you agree?
Nah.
Why wouldn't you agree? Because they are not playing to his strengths.
Yeah.
There's a difference between false 9 and a number 9. And the false 9 is not a position, it's a role. It's the instructions that feed into what you call it. What Havertz has been playing since Tuchel left is not a false 9. They say he's playing false 9, but when you look at the instructions he's being given, he's asked to do the job of a natural number 9. Now let me explain the differences to you. When you watch Havertz at Bayer Leverkusen, he was a half 9.
Yeah.
And half 9s are shadowed by a main striker. Yeah. So he's playing off the main striker. And the runs that you make into the box playing behind somebody is different from the runs that you'll be required to make when you are the main target. He doesn't know how to stand in the box, wait for ball, hold that play, link up with people, be the target man.
He's not Harry Kane.
He's not Harry Kane. He knows how to bounce off people. So if you watch him under Tuchel, although he was the one at the top, you realize that Werner was making a lot of inverted runs. He will move out, Mason Mount to slot in. He was arriving late. Maybe he'll flick on. That was Havertz. That's the Havertz that we know. When you watch Havertz in Germany, that's exactly how they use him. But Chelsea are using the guy wrongly. So a fan will sit down and say, this guy is a bad player.
So
but it's far from that.
To Real Madrid, how do you reckon they are going to use him with the players and the system that we have? They've not finished the transfer window. But assuming he walked into Real Madrid now,
he'll be a top-class signing. Top-class player. Because you see, there are some managers that when they pick the phone and they call their club president and they say, I want this boy, you know exactly what they are going to use him for. if you give Kai Havertz to Real Madrid, not even the manager, if you give him to Real Madrid, you just know that Real Madrid will know how to use him. Benzema is leaving. Even when Benzema was there, he's a sort of striker who vacates his position. Let's say if Havertz was playing behind Benzema, not in the number 10 per se, but in that half-9 slot, their movement and their link-up will work brilliantly.
This is a case Benzema where played with Raul.
Yeah, exactly.
We saw that.
With Higuain, with Raul, with Ronaldo, with Bale. But
Di Maria.
You also think, Danny, I don't know what you think, but did you think in more recent games you've seen Carlo Ancelotti, even in the game against City, at times switch to from the 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1, and with Cruz and Modric not getting any younger, could he be looking for maybe a Camavinga, Valverde, and Kai Havertz in behind whoever it is?
It could be, you see, and even that role, you see, again, it's because it's popular, a lot of people misappropriate the role. So the fact that somebody is playing behind the striker doesn't mean the person is a number 10 in its purest sense. Okay. You get me? So even if Havertz is going to play behind the striker, trust me, Real Madrid are not going to be asking him to do what a Kevin De Bruyne does.
It could be an Isco of Real Madrid when he was on form.
Exactly. You see, Havertz is so good, and it pains me that
he has a football brain.
He's very, very intelligent, and it hurts me that Chelsea have wrongly profiled him and is making him look bad. Because the guy is fat. Look, he's a top-class, brilliant talent. And I always say this thing. If you've not seen raw gold before and they give it to you, you don't know what it is. I always tell people, when they are quality players and you sit there and you say you don't like, when you leave them in the market, you see the sort of teams that will come for them. Yeah. You want to buy Maguire for 80 million, put him on the transfer market and see who will come.
West Ham
will come. Yeah. They said Pogba was a bad player. Every time Pogba was slightly for sale, PSG, Real Madrid, Juventus, Barcelona, top clubs. You can't use quality is quality. The fact that you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
It is what it is.
And the best football Kai Havertz has played this season is when Graham Potter tried to use him in the position that you were talking about, almost as a half-9 in number 10 space, and got Broha to play off him or Datro Fofana. Yeah. And that was his best spell this season, actually. So maybe yes.
Kai Havertz is 23 years as well.
Yeah, a lot of room for him.
He has so much football in him. And, you know, a year is a long time in football. We could be here by this time, and Chelsea will be such a distant memory. It will be a wonder why we even were having this debate in the first place. Another debate we may be looking at wondering is Leo Messi. La Liga have okayed the move. And we were saying, well, I mean, we don't need Messi's numbers. Most 10-year-old football fans can rattle his numbers in their sleep. And the question is, why do Barcelona need him, and do they need him? Before we came on air, my two panelists were unanimous, like the Supreme Court, no contempt, that Leo Messi is not needed at Barcelona. I think you want to hear this. Sicho, start.
Well, yeah, when we talk about Lionel Messi at Paris Saint-Germain, I don't think it was a success. And
you need to term it well. It was a failure.
Well, of course, even though it wasn't a success, I think it was a failure. I actually think that PSG might have retrogressed a bit with their strides they were making in Europe. It's a given you're going to win Ligue 1. It's a given. I mean, Pochettino won Ligue 1, nobody remembers. Christophe Galtier has won Ligue 1.
Nobody remembers.
Nobody remembers. If Messi's numbers in Ligue 1 anything to go by, then Kylian Mbappe should be winning the Ballon d'Or. He's got tons of goals, assists. Neymar has been dazzling in Ligue 1. These numbers are not new. Lacazette wasn't good in the Premier League for Arsenal, right? They replaced Lacazette with Gabriel Jesus and Edin Ketia. He's been scoring goals for fun in Ligue 1. Wissam Ben Yedder has been, tearing the place apart.
Balogun.
So, with all the greater respect to Ligue 1, it is not a great league. There's a reason why it's the 5th best amongst Europe's top 5. And the more reason why they classify that is the power of French football. Not necessarily because of the league, it's because of the power of French football. Yeah. Because their team don't even do well in Europe. You were always going to judge what Messi was going to do with Paris Saint-Germain in the big games in Europe. And I thought that it was a disaster. Because before you got to the club, they had made a Champions League final. They had made a Champions League semis, and they made back-to-back round of 16th. In all of those games, Messi wasn't impactful. As a matter of fact, if you push me more, I'll tell you that when Messi got to the club, it actually upset the way they were going to play. Because players like Mauro Icardi, who's a typical number 9, who they would have needed more, had to be shipped out. And when Messi played, and you've got Mbappe, you actually have 2 players, and Neymar. You actually got 3 players who don't work hard off the ball. And Neymar has been injured for a while. Mbappe doesn't work hard on the ball, even for France. Messi works, but when he works, the conversation is the rest of the teammates are doing enough for Messi, because when he's working, he's canning. Guess what? In PSG, you can't have 2 players working and the rest of the players working. So you see the numbers. Lens finished 1 point behind PSG. Other season, they would have been running away with it. They were not great. And the Paris Saint-Germain fans who go to the match venue every single match day, see the Messi effort, and they don't think it's great. I know we love Messi. You cannot love football and not love Messi. Sure. He's a brilliant footballer. What about Barca? It is only an emotional return. It doesn't solve Barca problems. It doesn't solve Barca football problems. It might solve Barca financial problems because they might be betting on the fact that a lot more fans will come to the venue. But guess what? Barcelona are not playing in camp now next season. They are moving to a smaller venue because they are going to revamp the place. So they don't need 90,000 fans to be at the Camp Nou. They need way less than that. And the Barca fans who fill the Camp Nou and get, this season they were making average of 87,000. If they get 55 or 60,000 next season, they will fill every single home game. I don't think they need Lionel Messi for that. And I'm not sure what he actually fixed.
By virtue of being league champions, you know, being in Europe, and being Barca.
The fact that Xavi is their coach actually is an attraction.
I mean, all those
because
things.
He's a Catalonia, they love Xavi and everything. There's Pedri, there's Gavi, you know. And I'm looking at football reasons. What really does Messi fix in this Barca side? How is he going to play? Because then we have a Lewandowski and Messi, 2 players who are not going to press as you think they will. So what is the football reason for Messi coming there, apart from the emotional attachment of Messi being a Barcelona legend, one of the greatest of all time in Barcelona colours, and the fact that they couldn't really say the very proper goodbye to him, so maybe they are looking forward to it. But I think for football reasons, Barca are better placed to maybe move on from Messi than bring him into the side, because Xavi has created something, and maybe if Messi comes, he has to just upset it a little bit and accommodate him.
We have to look at Ghanaians abroad as well. The Ghanaian players relegated and promoted in the top 5 European leagues. So Karim is on standby for that. But any other points on why you think Messi is not a great fit to return to Barca? Especially, I want you to touch on something you said off air, that the trajectory of the club last season requires a certain building that Messi will not add to.
Look, but we all know Barcelona's problems. They got some right during the transfer window. Some of the transfers were wrong. But I feel that the main part of Barca's team that they need to fix is the defense. I don't think that the attack has a problem. Yes, we saw them draw blanks close to the end of the season, but I feel the more telling problem is at the back. You might look at the numbers and say, oh, they didn't concede, they didn't.
Christensen.
No. When you have your goalkeeper pulling numbers that we've not seen in years, then you know that there's a problem. Because you can't take that same structure to next season and hope that he repeats those sort of performances. So Barca needs to fix the defense. They need to find a proper replacement for Sergio Busquets. Maybe on paper you may look at Xavi, De Jong, and Pedri, but we've seen them play together, and we've seen that it just doesn't have that thing that Busquets gives them. So there will be problems in midfield, and to bring Messi again. And Cicho has said it. It's the same thing that was happened to PSG that's going to happen to Barcelona. Lewandowski literally doesn't work off the ball. Messi doesn't work off the ball. In modern day football, and especially the way Barcelona plays, you need players to be running around closing spaces, or the structure will break down. So for me, in terms of footballing reasons, it doesn't make sense. But look, it's their club, it's their money. They want him, they can go and take him. If the guys who are on the other side, we want some of the transfers that will break the team down. So if they want to bring him, they can feel free to bring him. We're happy.
Interesting. Let's know what you think about Messi joining. But remember, this show is brought to you by Hunter's Red Apple. Enjoy it on its own or paired with your favorite meal for a delicious and satisfying experience. Whether you are looking for a chilled, refreshing drink on a hot sunny day or a warming beverage during the colder months, Hunter's Red Apple is a perfect choice. It's another quality product from Casa Preco, as you know. And for bulk purchase, you can call 0262-351-251, right? And if you want to text 055 157 5757, 055 157 5757. Everything we've discussed, Messi, Kai Havertz, Liverpool versus Man United, why they are not getting a certain kind of players as well. Let's know. Let me read one or two comments. We are just about 9 minutes to go, and then we do the Ghanaians abroad. Very important. Good evening, panel of analysts. Wow. I see you guys want to ditch Messi again after his stint at PSG is over. Playing with a dead and almost non-creative midfielders, deep playing as a midfielder and a forward to help the midfield, and you see he has done nothing unless you are just a biased Ronaldo fan. Come on, this is tiring, man. The points Sicho made were clear and devoid of everything you are saying. His points were as follows: that Messi is not a player who tracks back and helps. The same kind of profile can be seen in Kylian Mbappe, can be seen in Neymar.
Harry, I think he heard though. The PSG fans have sacked him, so he can.
Nobody said anything about Messi being a bad player. In fact, he said the numbers that Messi pulled are very good, but he situated it in the context of Ligue 1 and what it is. He didn't say that Messi is a bad player or anything. So please, when we speak, I beg you, listen to us. Don't bring your own.
This one is a draft. It's there already.
I beg you. You drafted it before. He said Neymar, Messi, and Kylian Mbappe are three of the same thing, and that nobody tracks back, and that is why they didn't do what they were supposed to do, right? Okay. So Messi to Barcelona, it's not right for him. Razak Capito from Upper East Region. Man City can't win the Champions League trophy. Trust me. I trust you, but I trust you, but I don't know, I would like to know Sadio Mane's status regarding Bayern Munich. Is he leaving the Bundesliga Giants, guys?
Yeah, it's been said by Moon.
But I think where is he going?
Slow.
Do we know?
Saudi.
Oh, now he will come to Chelsea. From Maus Fosukwe, see, Messi should go back and dent his image like Cristiano did to Manchester United's image as well. And then let me read the last one before I go to Karim. Madrid is just going to buy a replica of Hazard as well. How many goals has Ronaldo scored? Somebody's asking how many goals has Ronaldo scored. Good evening, Gary. I think I agree with Sicho. Barca don't need Messi from Nana Kofi Kwachi at media as well. But first, before we go to Karim, chuck it. Mr. Nathaniel Ato is on Zoom. Hi, Nat. Good evening.
To see you guys. How's it going, man?
Yeah, we are doing well, thank you. Mr. Ato will spend a couple minutes, it's 7 minutes to go, to speak about something that we've been profiling. Quick boxing before we do the Ghanaians abroad. Why he feels like we are failing to mine what he calls the platinum mine of the national boxing team, the Black Bombers. Mr. Ato, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Gary. In our sporting history, it is very obvious that over the years, boxing is a mainstay. Boxing is our plan. I say this very simply because when you look at our history and you look at the gains that we've made at the biggest, multi-sport event in the world, which is the Olympics, boxing has the majority, which is about 90%. We're talking about the medals of Prince Amate, of Eddie Blay, Ikote Sr., and recently, Samuel Techi. Now, I visited the camp of the Black Bombers, sometime last week on 2 occasions at different locations. And it is sad to note that after all of these years and after realizing that boxing is the sport, we are still turning a blind eye on what gets them out there to perform at the level at which we desire. Let's now do a bit of backtracking to, recent weeks where the national team, made of some, relatively new faces, went to the rebranded World Championships put together by IBA. IBA is now the International Boxing Association. First, it used to be AIBA. Now, prize money at the World Boxing Championship is ranging from $50,000 to $200,000 US. In a couple of days, the national team will be taking part in the next African Championships in Cameroon, and that is supposed to start the process to get them in good places and in good rankings for the eventual Olympic qualifiers. Now, at that World Championship, which was held recently, we were just on the brink of having one boxer get into the medal zone. Now, he was unable to do that. Now you are looking at the scenario where we probably had 2 or 3 boxers win between a bronze medal and a gold medal, between $50,000 and $200,000. That would have been a big deal. And that would probably have been in the range of some of the purses that the professional boxers, in the high spaces here in Ghana earn. I'm talking about those who are out there in the US and all of that. So the simple thing is that we need to get these boxers into a proper camping situation where they will have a proper training regimen and they will be monitored properly. And, the level of their form can be measured properly, based on which we can start demanding results from them. We can't keep doing the same things and expecting the boxers to just get out there, dig into space, and just come out to do these 5-star performances. Mind you, all the nations we come across at these competitions, and in this particular instance on the African continent, are preparing themselves well, because they do realize that now things have changed on the international front, especially at the world level. So they are putting in a lot of effort. Now, when you compare, a relative boxer of the National Amateur Boxing Team, the Black Bombers, to any of their colleagues, maybe from South Africa, from Nigeria, and you look, we're still sitting here, we're just, moved from gym to gym, and we're expecting that magic will be created. It doesn't work like that. The successful nations at multi-sport events are successful because they have invested in infrastructure and they've invested in the technical side. They've also invested in regular competition. Until we get the act right, and until we understand and decide to put the money where our advantage is, I'm sure we're going to be making the kinds of gains that we expect to be making. One of the things, look at this particular video we're watching now. That video you just saw is a proper training session of the national team. What about this video, Gary? Guys, you tell me in the studio, what about this video shows you that a national team is training? Nothing. There is no recognized kit for the national team. And that in itself goes to affect, psychological stability of these boxers and their focus to get things done. We all do know what kits mean when it comes to sporting relevance and the whole big picture of sport. When an athlete gets into a team and they are properly kitted in their uniform, it communicates a unity of purpose, it communicates discipline, and it communicates a certain sense of direction. We don't even have the basic kit, let alone talk about nutrition and even talk about, infrastructure and talk about logistics in camp.
That's just 2 minutes to go. We'll be wrapping up the show. Point well made. We'll be exploring this throughout all our programming as we get closer and closer to boxing and the obviously the Olympics next year, the qualifiers and all that. Operation Get Our National Team campaign should start as early as possible. Nathaniel Ato is our boxing expert on the team, and thank you very much for that.